Hello everybody, today we're playing with Rydia, Summoner of Mist. It's a 2-mana 1/2 in Brawl, which is red and green, legendary creature human shaman, and has landfall. Whenever land you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And has summon. For X and tap, return target saga card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It gains haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. We have a couple synergies with this commander. First, we take advantage that she's a cheap commander to play, so we can usually play her on turn 2. And the big effect is that landfall trigger. So we have two shells we're going to be covering with Rydia. The first shell is the enchantment side. We have the enchantment and most importantly enchantment creatures where they are effective blockers and they have an activated effect. And once we are in the late game or even the mid game, if any of our sagas got to chapter 3 or they just died to removal, we can tap, bring them back, and they get the effect again. Summon Fenrir is just an example of one of the pretty good ones, where we can get a basic land, and if we resummon, we get another one. Summon Titan, if we just get to chapter 2, we can bring up quite a few lands from the graveyard to our battlefield, which synergizes too. Our next shell is the Landfall. We're going to be a hybrid between an enchantment deck and a landfall deck. As for the landfall creatures, the most notable ones is Bristly Bill, Tifa, Mossborn Hydra, and Nissa. The advantage of these over just these specific commanders that are, for example, you can just play them as a commander on their own, is you are very pigeonholed into playing that type and are heavily reliant on that commander. For example, for Tifa, if Tifa ever dies, it becomes a bit difficult to bring her back, especially into the control or removal heavy matchups. With Rydia, if we draw any of them and they die, it's no problem. We just keep going, as our main game plan is Rydia's landfall trigger, where we can, every land we're going to be playing, we're going to be drawing and discarding. One of the big weaknesses in green is they don't have very good card draw, and red has okay card draw, but it takes us quite a few slots to make it decent and more reliable to play each turn. Just having it in your command zone means as long as we're drawing lands, or if we draw way too many lands, we can start discarding them and drawing our big hitters. What are our big hitters? We have in the late game. For green in general Gruul, one of the big rule I tend to have when brewing these type of decks is have big creatures that have either a powerful enters ability and if they can work for you in the removal department. A good example would be Kambal and Jadaro. It has haste, a 7/7 haste, but the most important keyword is when it enters, you can also make it fight another creature. We have a big creature and we remove something from the opponent. A tally can do quite a bit as well. We can maybe get a remove for the opponent, or we have multiple bodies, making it very difficult to deal with. Voltborn Tyrant has enters ability that draws, and if it dies, it make another dinosaur. The Rex has Ward 4 can't be countered, and normally just gets to hit. And of course, Crater Hoof with two tutors for the Crater Hoof as a late game way to just ensure the game. You have another tutor actually with the Huntsman's Redemption with Chapter 2. We get to sacrifice a creature. If you do, we search a library for a creature. Normally, if we are into the late game, we're going to be searching for the Crater Hoof. Ugin is just made for a deck like this, even though we don't have any other colorless spells to keep exiling. That normally that one big exile is good enough, and we benefit from the +2 and the 0, which is spectacular. We want more card draw. We're gonna need the life in the late game, and the extra mana means we can play our very expensive spells or replay Rydia. And even if it's in the battlefield, we get to use the X ability. So let's see how we do with Rydia, Summoner of the Mist. It's Myrel. Alright, not bad. We're a little bit susceptible to removal. Him getting the red is less reliable to get. We have starting town for turn 2. Here, block or thermal magnets, fine. What am I discarding? I want most of my hand, it would be you. But for now decline, I am in no rush. Let's get our... I'm okay with this. But we have 5 here, what we can do. We can Nissa. And we have a 2. Do I want for 2, or do we just Roxanne? The other is to scale the Hydra. It forces interaction. If they want a board wipe. They want a board wipe. I like Roxanne quite a bit. That is the best play we can do for 5. Because we can do you. Fine. We have you. I think at this point I am giving up this. I'm gonna deal with Myrel. We can't. What we can do is go you. And we can Roxanne it. This one. What do I want? Let's get a green. I can Vorinclex here, or can Roxanne for the blocks. And some blockers. And we have Vorinclex for lands. Um. And all of them. Whatever sticks is fine. He wants to put a counter. I'm okay with. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? If we do, how much mana do we have now? 3, 4, 5, 6. I can start scaling with the Hydra. I do like... Next turn we can start to Vorinclex. This forces the opponent to do something. Or he puts a counter, can't attack. With the deadline. we're gonna be going on a race. Unless the opponent wants to block. The opponent's a coward. Okay. Like the heirloom, but we don't need to do it now. We have two surveils here. Don't think we need to not play it. Oops. Get a green. We can go for here. If he triple blocks, I'm okay with it. Equals his power. So this is 12. I can go here and go for 9. But I do like you. Go here, here. If he triple blocks, we have the insurance. I'm okay with Warren Click sitting here. I am getting very close to lethal. Don't want to reveal the passage until I need to. Get a green. Go. And that's lethal. We hit with the Hydra, we give it unblockable. That'd be GG's. Don't play too safe. I was expecting the opponent to go for a full hit and leave me pretty low. We did have two good blockers into Denli, because Denli is... Creature control power 2 less can be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. So we had two good blockers. And we could take a token with him with Helena and Elena. And if we pump with the War Leader, we can block again. So the opponent was in a tough scenario. GG's. Yes, Kambal. Not bad with the Choco, but the Choco dies. I'm playing the Demolition Field. Yeah, we'll try it. It's a risky hand. We don't have red for our commander. But this forces interaction. Next turn we could Hydra. But this leaves open to 4 wipe, which is what worries me. I think I want to go plan B and just play the Saga. Reason being is I expect the opponent to play some sort of Borway. Very weird you didn't play Kambal. Already have red. I do need triple green. Let's get it. Put a counter. Let's go. Well, once you remove, it's fine. It's one removal spell we don't have to deal with. Keep scaling. He can play Closet, turn after play the Hydra. This is good for their commander because they get the token. Had to play that way because we need to be mana efficient. Now you force the opponent to remove the Hydra. We can bring from the graveyard. We'll see. For example, we can play land and demolition field. For big hit. Don't get to Ugin, unfortunately. I do want to discard something. Do I? I can do this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? What am I giving up? The Kambal? Or the Cleric? If I could go for 6 here. I think I'm dealing with that bat. That's annoying. He wants to triple blocks, fine. Alright. I'm gonna land I can Ugin here. We'll maybe die, but fine. And we force interaction. Oh, the innocence. Yeah, we go for hits. So from this point on, they had 4, 6, 7, but I had a blocker, and I can go on offense here. The opponent's a really tough spot because I get to draw from this point on. With Ugin, it goes to 9, making it very difficult, and I can leave the opponent very low. And next turn, I can have the combo with Demolition Field and Rogue's Passage. Even if I don't draw land, I hit him for 16. GG's. Alright, we can get a red as well. We're gonna Terramorph. Get the expand. Terramorphic expand. Yeah. Expect the opponent removal, so let's play Rydia. Gonna be a removal magnet. Play Ruby. But we need double red, right? Don't need to. Play Ruby. I don't think I want to discard anything now. Bodyguard. Pretty beneficent. Next turn, we can Luca or Roxanne. Most likely Luca. Okay. Even if it targets him, gain 3 block. Alright, targets again. Protecting their own legendary. Doesn't matter. And I can block here. Oh, not a good attack from them. Okay. We have a couple options. Option number 1 is to make Luca. Luca scales for us. But I think Summon Fenrir is slow. I think it is. Not at that point anymore. Can make another blocker. Okay, deals X damage divided at choose greatest power. We only have 2. Let's make a They're making creatures. We have 3, 4, 5. Alright, haste. I will double block. That's this play. I'll double block anyway. I get rid of the raptor. Interesting. So I can 4 take you out on Roxanne. Is it that important, or we just make an army? We can go for a hit here, which is fine. I would like to keep double blockers in just in case. Go face. Let's keep making a board. Yeah. Oh, we have 2 blockers. I think it's fine. And I am willing to block with Roxanne. I get to pressure their HP. At this point, we had the game locked out. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. Next turn 7, we're gonna Ugin Gilgamesh or bigger creature. We had Luca to keep making 3/3s. And there we were pretty much smooth sailing. Rydia just did her job, which was to draw. And took removal out of the way. GG's. It's not bad, but we do want to hit land 5. We do have removal for the Carnosaur. We are gonna need into the Mage Light. Cavern of Souls helps us. Probably named Druid. Can even name that turn 2 we fear the opponent's just counter tribal. I like it. In the expanse we're gonna get a red. The unfortunate part here is we have to send something under the bus. Do we do something on 4? Not really, but I am willing to maybe block for 2. Do I slow him down? I'm gonna play Rydia, because I'm gonna block with her most likely. If one removes it, it's fine. They don't have anything on 4. An enchantment. Okay, yeah, removal, it's fine. In fact, it took one for the team, was good enough. Turn to favor. That is a blocker. I can play Luca here and have a good blocker. I think I will do that. It is a bit bad into another removal piece, but it forces them to interact here. If I had a 1-mana interaction, that would be crazy good from them. That's fine. He'll get to block. Okay, I have 5 here. I think I am gonna play the Tyrant. Especially as the opponent just played the Unable to Scream. There's not that many targets that can hit the Tyrant. There's a couple. We drew Bill, so I want to say Fable for a good build turn. We can even put a counter, 2 counters actually. If Luca survives, of course. Good at 8.
The pieces are scattered. Each one has its place. I'll find what I need soon.
I have a couple options here, but I think the best thing is Roxanne. We can Roxanne deal with the Jace. What else? We would have 2 extra mana, so probably the paleontologist. Unless we want to buff the Roxanne. Not be bad at all. Video. Fenrir is not bad, but I think what we'll do is down here. I am thinking if we go for this hit here, he can block it. If we go double blocks here, I'd like to pump the Roxanne to be a good blocker. Let's see what he does on attacks. He can block once. Leave out one.
You won't break my resolve.
Pop the Roxanne. I am gonna go extra green. I'm gonna split here. Reason being, if they have removal, I can always block the Guidelight. This is to any target, right? The next turn may have removal for us. It is an artifact. That thing's an enchantment aura. And we have the Itali. Do we need a Luca? We have a 2 here. That's the other option. Alright. Nope. Ooh, combat research. Good on you, it's fun. Here. I want to deal with you. If we go for damage here, he has to block. And it can pay 2. Stay. Then the Chocobo, I would like to do later. But what are we getting here? You give me lands. See ya. I'm not playing the Chocobo in case the opponent plays a board wipe. And same with the current results in case the opponent plays a Rebuke. It's fine. I still get my token. That's why we didn't play the paleontologist. They're an aura for an artifact. It has to be an artifact. And ossification is a card. I'm thinking that's what he's playing. Yeah, I'm replaying a tally though. I do that. What is he getting? The token or Luca? Okay, that is not bad. But I can block here. If I play you, do I have 7? 5, 6, 7? I have more than enough, right? No, I think I need to pay the extra.
For the taking.
Thinking I can play a tally. Let's give it to you, just think. Good with you.
We'll regroup elsewhere.
What else? I don't need to. This is 1-1. Okay. Oh, opponent drew the nuts. Cool. Doesn't matter. I had a suspicion they had something crazy. That's why I did not play much into it. Let's play Chocobo. Play Warren. Oh, that's only one. Alright. I can play you, and I would have one more land open. I already have my 3. Can look, but yeah. I don't have enough, I'm pretty sure. I have 1, 2, I need 3 more, so I can make a token here. Do I risk the opponent have another board wipe? I think we make him have it. Let's go here. Alright, opponent, you played 2 board wipes. You have another one. What can I get? Do you know a creature I can get here? But I think in response I'm gonna need full control, right? Need to crew 4. I can't current response? Didn't let me. Alright. we're gonna do is, but yep. How much mana we have left? 2 mana, right? Oh, 3. I'm gonna name here. Base. A beast. I'm gonna turn 4. Alright, in spite of the opponent playing quite a bit. Looking pretty difficult for them. Have a way to creature indestructible. Need exile at this point. Or the Borog gives indestructible. Could also be pretty good for them. Good token. I think we're gonna be using Duplicator. Oh, I have to sacrifice this. Doesn't count. There's no way I can use. Well, from this point on, we had lethal. But I needed another board wipe. That's the advantage of these ramp decks. If we able to get to critical mass, and really what helped us was that early game Luca. And we didn't play the paleontologist, would pretty much end up mattering. And the power of Rydia, because she's cheap, and the opponent can get terrified. She eats removal, and we saved a turn to play the paleontologist to get a tally back, and a tally force the opponent to do their second board wipe, and we had enough creatures. And the big tip here into control is to not overforce your hand, just have enough threats that forces the opponent to remove it and force it. And then we even saved the chocobo until the third time because we had enough threats with the paleontologist combo to again force a second board wipe, and the opponent just didn't have enough for the third. GG's. For the post-game rant with Rydia, Summoner of Mist. I enjoyed this deck, especially for the landfall and enchantment. Normally, the enchantments are a bit on the questionable if you want to go for a full enchantment style deck. One of the difficulties in standard Brawl, if you just go for, let's say, enchantments, if there's not enough in the format, well, the commander doesn't become viable. But because we also synergize with landfall, we would have more than enough creatures to play an enchantment package and a landfall package. I try to play the enchantments and artifacts that lets us play lands from the graveyard, but I end up just discarding them most of the time. Even in standard Brawl, the form is quite fast, and we don't have that many basics to be replaying our lands. Unlike other multicolor decks, we go heavy into the basics. I even cut a couple colorless lands because many games I really was feeling the lack of the basics in the late game. For example, I would have liked at least one or two more basics to have just that extra land drop or landfall trigger. As well, we are playing many of the cards that lets us search for basics even though they enter tap, because normally turn one we're not going to do anything, and we are heavily incentivized to play multiple lands a turn due to our landfall triggers. A Mossborn Hydra with double triggers can end the game very fast. And of course, we have Rogue's Passage to Make sure any of our big hitters doesn't get chump blocked, and we can directly go for lethal. I have to say MVPs in this deck is don't sleep on the World Wagon. It is pretty good in green and in any format. And your Planeswalkers. Roxanne, of course, not much needs to be said. But Luca as well with Ugin, your Planeswalkers are very good insurance, especially into control. If you have a Planeswalker on board and a couple creatures, it becomes very difficult for the opponent to deal with everything you have. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below what are your favorite commanders from this set. Thanks for watching.